Absorption of minerals in plants. Introduction. The uptake of minerals by the plants through the root system from the soil is called absorption of minerals. Plants do not absorb the minerals in the form of salt molecules. They absorb minerals in the form of cations and anions. The soil water is the source of minerals to the plants. The exact site of mineral absorption varies slightly depending upon the mineral to be absorbed and the plant species. Example: calcium, iron, potassium, nitrate, ammonium, and phosphate. Mechanism of mineral absorption. Plant absorb mineral by the young roots. Mineral ions in the soil are brought to root surface by bulk flow and diffusion. In bulk flow, nutrients are carried to the root surface by water moving towards the root. In diffusion, mineral nutrients move from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration where the mineral depletion occurs due to the continuous absorption of plant roots. It takes place by two methods: passive absorption and active absorption. Passive absorption. It is the movement of mineral ions into root cells along the concentration gradient by diffusion without the expenditure of energy. It is also known as physical absorption. There are three main concepts explaining passive absorption: mass flow theory, ion exchange theory, Donan's equilibrium. Mass flow theory. In this, ions are absorbed by the root along with the mass flow of water under the influence of transpiration. It is a non-selective process that cannot explain the absorption of selective minerals from the soil. This theory fails to explain the exact reason for this difference in absorption between the divalent and monovalent cation. Ion exchange theory. The exchange of ions of root cells from the ion of same sign and the equivalent charge in the soil solution. Ion exchange between the plant root and soil solution via contact exchange and carbonic acid exchange. Donan's equilibrium. It is the diffusion equilibrium at which the net charge of inorganic ion outside the cell membrane is equal to the net charge of free mineral ion and the fixed ions inside the cell. It takes place against the concentration gradient of the mineral ions. Active absorption. Absorption of ions against the concentration gradient with the expenditure of metabolic energy. There is no ion exchange. It is a selective process. No equilibrium is attained during the active absorption of ions across the membrane. It is not determined by the external salt concentration. It takes place through the carrier molecules in the plasma membrane. It is explained by two hypotheses. There are cytochrome pump theory and protein lecithin theory. Cytochrome pump theory. According to this theory, anions of minerals are carried into the cells by the cytochrome present in the plasma membrane by active process, while the cation are carried into the cell passively. Dehydrogenase reaction on the inner side of the membrane gives rise to the photons and the electrons. The electrons travels over the cytochrome chain towards the outside of the membrane so that the ion of the cytochrome become reduced on the outer surface and oxidized on the inner surface. On the outer surface, the reduced cytochrome is oxidized by releasing the electron and making an anion. The electron thus released unite the H plus and oxygen to form water. The anion travels over the cytochrome chain towards the inside. On the inner surface of the oxidized cytochrome become reduced by taking an electron produced through the dehydrogenase reaction, and the anion is released. As a result of anion absorption, a cation moves passively from outside to the inside to the balance the anion. Here you can see the picture of this mechanism. Protein lecithin theory. It was proposed by Bernard Clark in 1956. The anion and cation in the soil are carried into the cell by carrier molecules called lecithin present in the plasma membrane. The phosphate group in the phosphatide is regarded as the active center binding the cation and the basic choline group as the anion binding center. The ions are liberated on the inner surface of the membrane by decomposition of the lecithin by the enzyme lecithinase. The regeneration of the carrier lecithin from the phosphodioric acid and choline takes place in the presence of the enzyme choline acetylase and choline esterase and ATP. The latter acts as the source of energy. Here you can see the mechanism. Factors affecting absorption of salt. Temperature. The rate of salt uptake increase with temperature. pH. The lower the pH accelerate the absorption of cation, higher the pH increases the absorption of anion. Light. Light increases the rate of salt absorption. Growth and aging. As the growth increase, the surface area of absorption increase. As the aging increase, the volume of the root increase. So the absorption also increase. Thank you.